/hurricane and in all of our social media channels. Some housekeeping rules. We'll have 5 speakers today. The Superintendent of Schools, followed by Jody Dumas, the Chief Operating Officer, discussing damages across the county. Chris Renoff, Chief Academic Officer, discussing our continuity plans. Deborah Jackalone, Executive Director, Student Services. She will be discussing programs available to our community and to our staff and students. And Dr. Harriet Moore, Director of Innovations and Equity, will discuss our charitable donation sites and the contributions that are coming in. I would ask that you please hold all questions until we finish with all the speakers, and we will do the best to answer questions that you have. So now please welcome Dr. Brendan Asplin.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know this past week has been devastating with Hurricane Ian coming in at a Category 4, close to a Category 5. And I just want to say, first of all, that here in the school district, all of our prayers, thoughts, our hearts go out to everyone in our community, especially those who have had major damage. I want to thank the community for their support. I know the community has come together to help each other out and all the citizens of our community in many different ways. And I just want to say thank you and how much we appreciate that. And I know the community appreciates that as well. I also want to say a big thank you to our EOC, the emergency management team in our county. They are outstanding and have really supported our school shelters in every single way. I also want to thank all the agencies who have worked with the EOC or within the EOC to help our families in our shelters and to help our students as well. We appreciate their support. It was a collective effort. We collaborated together very, very well, and I thought that that was very positive during this time. So again, thank you to them. We started sheltering, as you know, on Tuesday, September 27th, with 14 shelters. The storm hit on Wednesday, 6 days ago, September 28th, with the eye crossing Northport as a Category 4 with winds and serious flooding and massive damage to our county. Our administrators have worked around the clock to run these shelters, along with our food and nutrition staff who have fed our guests. We fed our guests breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Our bus drivers have transported our guests each day over multiple days over the last 6 days. I also want to thank our board members for helping at our shelters as well, helping families get acquainted with their new surroundings and helping them with different items at the shelters. Currently, we have 2 shelters that are still open, Venice High School for general population and Tatum Elementary for our medical dependent guests. Those plan to be closed on Friday at the end of the day, so we can begin cleaning those to help us reopen as soon as possible. Obviously, we want to open ASAP, and as you probably know, North County and South County took different amounts of wind and hit and water. However, all of our schools had water intrusion and damage. The reopening plan is going to be a phased reopening plan. North County Schools from Taylor Ranch North, we are shooting for Monday. We'd like to open on Monday and be ready for that. South County Schools will follow, and they will take at least another week to reopen with the amount of damage that we've had down there in our schools. By the end of the week, we should have more specific details, and I believe we're having another press conference on Thursday or Friday to give you even more specific information. We still have power outages in 4 schools: Southside Elementary, Lamarck Elementary, Toledo Blade Elementary, and Glen Allen Elementary. We've also, in all of our schools, we've had to obviously discard spoiled food, and we have school food shipments that are on the way to help us reopen. We have had facility management and maintenance teams in our facilities since Friday, September 30th, assessing, cleaning, and repairing damages. These would include water extraction, generator and electric repair, debris removal, sewer and plumbing problems, and roof repairs. Employees and volunteers have been helping us clear the debris out on our campuses. All of our contractors are working and restoring our most damaged buildings across the county. We appreciate our contractors. Our neighbors still have debris blocking sidewalks, and there is standing water due to flooding and tidal changes making unsafe walking conditions for students at this time. Also at this time, many traffic signals throughout the county are not working, making unsafe conditions for busing, and we anticipate these will be addressed by week's end. We are going to run our bus routes. We have around 300 bus routes. We're going to run those as a dry run to be sure that all of our bus stops are open and ready to go. Many of our employees were also affected by the storm. We're currently working through who can return based on their needs and making sure that we have supports in place for them. We appreciate our employees so much, and we need them in our schools to reopen with our students. And so, again, hearts go out to them. Some of them actually lost their homes as well. So with that, I will now turn over to our Chief Operating Officer, Jody Dumas.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to kind of address everybody and let you know where we stand in terms of our buildings and recovery. As Dr. Aspelin pointed out, immediately as we could get out after the storm, we had 6 teams of assessment teams in the district looking at the condition at all of our campuses. Let me just kind of explain what a condition assessment is. That is literally every room, every spot on every campus. When that team encounters some damage, that is a picture of every little bit of damage. That's an estimate on the quantity, the square footage, the linear foot, whatever it might be, the number of ceiling tiles that has to go into the estimate. It's a description of the damage. Again, it's a picture of the damage, and it's a GPS coordinate on every little bit of damage in the district. So it is a painstaking process in every building. Over 8.5 million square foot that we own in the district. So that has been completed. They've been in everywhere, and that documentation is in the database ready to go. As that starts to conclude, our next phase is then recovery, and that started immediately after as a campus was cleared with those condition assessments being done. Then facilities teams were in there trying to deal with the damage in terms of any water intrusion, and then certainly debris cleanup across the district is going to be ongoing for quite a while. Our goal with debris is just stack it on campus, get it out of the way, get it safe for students and staff and community members to be on our campuses, and then we'll address some of the larger debris piles at a later date. So really our focus right now is get everything safe, get it secure, so that we can open it as soon as possible. Obviously, as Dr. Aspelin mentioned, we have really two distinct lines in the district, kind of a North County opening planned for early next week, and we feel confident in that area. South County is obviously, as you know, been hit a little harder, and so on every campus in South County, we've got our partners, our contractors that we've worked with for years, dispatched to all areas of South County, and so they are running everything from water extraction to roof repairs. On many campuses, we lost roofs on certain buildings. When you have water intrusion and no AC for a few days, that becomes a concern. So any place we have a concern where we have not gotten it out early enough, we're cutting drywall out, we're removing carpet. And so obviously we want to open as quickly as possible, but we won't open until everything is absolutely safe and ready for kids to return. So that's the process going on in South County. As we open, what I want people to understand, especially in South County, it will be an opening where some campuses will not have access to every building on that campus. And so, for example, we may have an elementary school opens with no access to the cafeteria, no access to the kitchen. And so the plans are now behind the scenes being brought together. So what does that look like? We potentially cook at a different site, students eat in the classroom. So those are the types of behind the scene conversations that are happening right now with facility services as we look at what can come up and what can't come up. Obviously, power is still off in a few of our facilities, and that is key for us. We have to have power to restore. And so we are still awaiting power in a few of those. And FPL has been a great partner with us, as well as the EOC, working through those issues. So I know it's a priority for them, but we are waiting on power in a few of our facilities to bring those up and running. When you get a situation like occurred in our county, as power goes down and up throughout the storm, you get what you call single phasing. And our equipment does not like single phasing. And so as power comes back on, there are concerns about HVAC equipment and all of those things. And that's a painstaking process that's going to each building, each air handler, trying to start it, see if it'll run. If it won't run, making those repairs. And so those are the types of things that even though a campus may have power at this point, that still need to be run through every building painstakingly and make sure that's all up and running for students to come back. So we feel very good about where we are. I mean, we have amazing facilities teams, construction teams, and I cannot say enough about our business partners across the district that have been working with us for years. As soon as we made the call, they were on campus and mobilizing really extraction construction companies, repair companies from across the United States to work in our facilities, especially down south. So it's an amazing effort, but it is a Herculean effort with not having water in many of our campuses that were shelters for numbers of days. As you can imagine, the conditions in those bathrooms and those cafeterias are not ideal at this particular point. So we're absolutely committed to the timeline that the superintendent has set us on, and we feel comfortable we'll be able to deliver that in a safe manner for everybody across the district. So that's a little summary of where we are in terms of building and services at this particular point.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you again for the opportunity to go ahead and address all of you. From an academic standpoint, I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that reopening and instructional continuity plans are being formulated at each level, elementary, middle, and high, based on exactly what Mr. Dumas just talked about, the facility, but also a staff assessment. Principals are proactively planning, utilizing the information that they have on hand. And when I say they're proactively planning and problem solving, because basically what staff can they anticipate is going to be able to return, the level of readiness and needs that their staff may have, families, students, and also the condition of their facility. There may be some schools that, again, have portables, classrooms, certain places on their campus that are uninhabitable. And so, again, they have to proactively plan behind the scenes to go ahead and how do they address that, plan moving forward so that instructional continuity is not affected. We also want to make sure, again, safe and seamless transition back to normal operations. It's a new normal right now. And so, again, we just want to make sure that we're taking the time to painstakingly look at it from multiple perspectives so that, again, our students, who are our priority, our families and our staff, have what they need, the resources to go ahead and make sure that they feel like they belong back in our schools and are being served accordingly. We also need to identify the personalized needs that are going to exist when students and families come back and staff come back. So we want to make sure with that staffing assessment that we anticipate receiving from each of our principals. They're reaching out to each and every student and family on their campuses and their staff. They want to make sure that they know what are the needs so that we can work behind the scenes. You're going to hear a little bit more from Deb Jackalone, the Executive Director of Student Support Services, on exactly what are the types of programs and sports that are out there that are in place right now for our staff, for our students and families, but also charitable donations and things like that in our community for our families. Last but not least, I just want to make sure that I let everybody know a message is actually going out today, later today, to all of our families. And it's during this extended time when they're not in school, what resources are in place. So we want to make sure that folks know, one, what resources, what activities, what recommendations, what electronic resources are available. Should they have access to those resources? Some will, some won't. But we want to make sure that while students are at home, that there are learning opportunities that can exist and can continue to occur while they're off campus. So with more information that comes available to us, we will continue to personalize the instructional continuity plans moving forward. Thank you. Deb Jackalone.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to share with you all some of the things that the student support team is doing to assist our staff and our families in the community. This has been an incredibly difficult experience for some. We shared with our team yesterday that every person handles trauma and these situations differently. So our motto is, if you need something, ask, and if you have something to give when you can. So in terms of what we're doing, we have two shelters that are currently still open, Tatum Ridge and Venice High School. And at this time, we have nursing staff, we have school psychologists, we have school social workers, and counselors in those centers that are there to help support families with a variety of things that they may need. Anything from outreach to community connections to basic needs. Dr. Moore is going to share more about where basic needs of staff and families can be met throughout our community. Our student services team is working very closely in partnership with our community agencies. Our Florida Center partners are reaching out to all of their clients and providing ongoing services for those with mental health and behavioral health needs. Our First Step partners are also working very closely with their families with outreach. The Central Florida Behavioral Health Network, in partnership with First Step of Sarasota and the school district is working to set up what they're calling a community resource center. They have a target date to open that community resource center on Thursday, and we are advocating for that center to be set up in our south part of the county so people with the most significant needs have access for those. As soon as we get information about where those resource centers will be set up, we'll be sharing that with our community and our staff as well. The purpose of those resource centers is threefold. One, it will be to help all families and staff members that need to access federal, state, and local assistance programs to have case managers and social workers there that can assist. We also want to make sure that we're able to connect any family to our food banks and distribution sites for basic safety needs. And then the third prong of that is to provide counseling services for those who have extensive needs. I wanted to make sure that the community is aware that the mobile response team is on call and working to support any immediate needs that the community has. The mobile response team is an operational center that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it serves all portions of our community from the very north part of our county all the way through the south part in Northport. Mobile response team can be reached at 941-413-6163. That number again is 941-413-6163. That number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We also have a partnership with a crisis text line. Anybody that needs anything can text HERE, HERE, the number 4 and the letter U to 741-741 and be connected to a crisis counselor immediately. We have tremendous partnerships throughout our community, from food banks to our Schoolhouse Link Homeless Coalition, House and Authority foundations that are working tirelessly to make sure that everybody has a need. Our social workers, psychologists, nurses, we will be in schools and we will be supporting all of our students, our families, and our community to make sure that they're connected with whatever they need. One last thing that I wanted to share is that employees that are working in Sarasota that need immediate assistance, we have an outstanding EAP program, which is our employee assistance program. We also have mental health services through our insurance program via Teledoc. Anybody who needs to reach out to Teledoc for those services, those are available. And we also have behavioral health services as part of the Florida Blue insurance program. All of these resources will be posted on our websites. Additionally, we will have hard copies of these available at all of our shelters, with our staff being able to provide those for people who do not have internet access or cell phone access. So thank you for the support. Each one of you, a huge thank you to the team behind me for working around the clock. I saw some incredible things with our administrators, our custodial staff, our food service staff, our instructional staff, our classified staff. Everybody is coming together so we come out of this stronger and better. Thank you. Sorry, Dr. Harriet Moore, who is working closely with us, will talk about immediate needs through donation sites located throughout our community. Dr. Moore?
Thank you, Deb. Good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure to say that I live in Sarasota right now, even though we're in a real weird place. The outpouring of support for our school system, for our staff and our students, and for one another has been unprecedented. It is my hope that the love and compassion and really coming together that we're seeing is something that will not go away when we fix everything, but we'll continue to work in that fashion. Having said that, we have tremendous donations have been pouring in from the community, and those donations, as they have come in, we have been distributing them, redistributing them out into the community, not just here in North Sarasota, but all the way down as far as Fort Myers. We're trying to reach all of those people who cannot get out to access the materials and the food things and the supplies that they need. I want to mention a few of our sites right now and some of the folks that have been tremendous in making sure that we get things where they need. We have staff with roofs on, their trees on their roofs, as well as community folks, and people. I put the word out, and people are, rounding up folks to go and get trees out for people's homes, of our staff, and just really coming together to help and support us. So I want to mention a few of our collection sites and distribution sites. They're collecting and then they're going to be distributing, but some are already in the distribution process. South Shore Church, Pastor Nick Williams and his team have been tremendous. Not only are they collecting, but they're also loading things up and distributing them wherever we send them. First Baptist Church, Crystal Alliance is also collecting materials and support, everything from formula to diapers to everything that we need, we're getting. Riverside Church, which is Matthew Nations, they are a collection site for Fort Myers. The Jewish Federation of Sarasota Manatee is also a collection and distribution site. All of the times that they are receiving and distributing is posted on our website. We push it out every time with an update. I also want to mention that Coast Life Church, Dylan Ritchie is the contact person there, and they're at a new location at 1100 US Highway 41 bypass. I want to make sure I say that because between now, Tuesday, all the way through Friday, not only are they distributing support and materials for people, but they're also having hot barbecue dinners from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for our families who have been impacted by the storm. Grace Community Church, I call them my Grace family, under Pastor Mike and Senior Pastor Chip. They have been amazing. They have cleared their sanctuary and they are packed. And they're also ones that are packing trucks and distributing out to our South County families. New College of Sarasota, for our staff members, has opened up the library for Wi-Fi and for other services that staff might need. They have to have their IDs to get in, but they can contact Bill Whitson, who works closely with us. And also, the Sarasota Art Museum is open for families from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, providing coffee and a free bowl of soup, water, Wi-Fi, and art activities for our children. So just really exciting things that are going on. And the Community Foundation, the Education Foundation, who is partnering with Sarasota County Schools, has set up a Hurricane Disaster Relief Recovery Fund for our staff and for our facilities to help us address some of the needs of our families and also within our schools. We are so excited and happy for the support that has been coming our way. I also want to thank Don Nations, Joanna Gustafson, Mike Moran, Elaine Emmerich, and Mike from Coastal Truck, who delivered ice cream to all of our evacuees and staff at Venice High School on yesterday. Just an outpouring of support. We will continue to push out information and updates. We are packing trucks and loading trucks and sending everything from tarps to tools down to South County. And so anything that you all have to distribute, you can always email me. And we are just really grateful for the partnerships that we have garnered in this process. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to Craig Maniglia.
Thank you, Dr. Moore, and again, thank you to the community and for everybody stepping up and helping this time in need. Now we'll open the floor for a few questions from the media. If anybody has one, we'll go ahead and entertain those.
Chris Porter from the Sun newspaper in Northport, England. You said Taylor Ranch North is the first phase. Does that include Venice Middle School? Where does that one fall?
Yes.
So that opens Monday. You're trying to get those open Monday.
Our hope is to open Monday, and with extenuating circumstances, we'll have another press conference later this week to a definite timeline, but we are shooting for Monday at this point.
And then the farther south one, we don't have a definite time yet, but
We'll have a better idea at the next press conference, but it will be probably a week trailing the opening of the north.
and one more question. No schools were destroyed. All the schools are going to be coming back. Every single one of them.
All schools will be back.
Do you have an idea of how long those two campuses will still be used as shelters going forward?
At this point, we don't. We're talking with, guess we just got information.
In discussion with the EOC this morning, it looks like we will have those shelters closed by Friday so that we can begin to clean throughout the weekend to be ready for Monday.
As far as the flights go, what is the state of that? Do we expect that to
Stay up there.
I'll just stay. So, a great question about the athletics. We're having a meeting today with all of our athletic directors, and we will be discussing that as far as where we are, where other school districts are, what do our schedules look like, what do our playing fields look like. And Steve Cantis, the Executive Director of Secondary Schools, will be having that meeting today with all of our athletic directors.
With the water intrusion into the schools, what is the problem with mold? Is that a big problem? What are some of the bigger challenges you guys have to?
I think with the water intrusion, the key there is having power so that we can run the air conditioning and our extraction machines. The longer you don't have air conditioning, the longer you might, or the more possibility of developing mold in the rugs. And I think our teams have done a great job so far of extracting everything that we can at all of the schools that we have that do have power, and then running those ACs so that we can make sure that mold does not develop. Jody, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so obviously that's a critical concern for us, and so our motto is when in doubt, cut it out, right? And so we're cutting drywall where we're not sure, that's all coming out. And so again, safety and security of our students is absolutely at the utmost importance. So if we are on that line of we're not sure, it gets cut out, gets discarded, new goes in. And again, that's back to what does school look like. We may not be able to get the same color carpet that was in that classroom. It may be patchwork to open, but we'll go back and correct that as we get time over the summer. But that's obviously on the top of our list. And the other thing is we have a industrial hygienist we have on contract, and they work with us throughout the year where we have water intrusion, which occurs. We have a lot of buildings. We get water intrusion when we get, just major thunderstorms, and we always address those. And we'll be doing IAQ testing in all of our buildings to make sure that we're clear for students. So, yeah, major concern, obviously, especially where we had AC off for a while, but I feel we got a good plan in place to address that and make sure it's safe when kids come back, and staff, absolutely.
And thank you, Jody. One other thing to add to that, one thing we do ask is for everybody's patience, as we do open the schools. And as Jody said, pulling up certain carpets, laying down other carpet, and so on and so forth. To open the schools, we may have to move some classrooms to other areas. Your children might have a classroom in the cafeteria, in an area in the cafeteria, until we can get that rug switched out and so on and so forth. So we want to make it as safe as possible for all of our students. And in doing that, there may be a few classrooms at a school that we do open that may need to move to other locations within that school. So being patient with us and our activities as we make repairs. The bottom line is that everyone is safe. So we're working on that. Thank you.
Yeah, we have time for one more question. Anybody have one? You've already had one, right?
Is there any sense of relief, given what this could have been and what could have happened, and now you're able to open up all of these schools at some point?
Well, I can say there's relief, but there's also heavy hearts and sadness because not everybody bared the storm as some of our lucky ones, maybe here in the audience. So I'll let the superintendent address that, but right off the bat, our hearts go out to many, many, many of our community members and what devastation they're going through.
Yes, so that's a great question. Having a Category 5 right at the edge of or a Category 4 right at the edge of a Category 5 with the eye wall going through the Northport area, there was, I guess, I don't want to say a sense of relief because a lot of people got hit really, really hard. But when you look at our buildings and the damage that occurred, I thought that there would be much more damage than there was. So we are able to repair and clean and move back within a couple of weeks of the hurricane at that magnitude. I think that's amazing, and it's also a testament to our maintenance crew and our facilities crew that do just an amazing job, and our contractors and the relationships we have with them and them coming in and really helping us out turn this all around very, very quickly. Pretty amazing. But I really thought maybe we would have a couple schools that just, had the slab left when you're looking at those winds. So we were incredibly happy about that. But like Craig said, those whose houses are leveled, we are very concerned about those families and those employees that are in that situation, and we need to try and help them as much as possible as well.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And again, we'll send out another release when we're going to convene here, most likely Thursday or Friday at the latest. Any information you need from my office, reach out. I do ask that you follow us on social media, because because we still have unstable communications in a lot of the area, and we are putting everything out there first, and then the rest of the robocalls and everything else follow. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon. One update, the athletic meeting is actually tomorrow, so on the Friday update or Thursday update, we'll be able to talk more about athletics.